We have two new albums from Ciao, and one is the bird cage, the other is cats. So we've got birds and cats, and wait till you see what Teresa has done with them. Please come play with us. Each album measures 6 inches by 8 3/4, and they come with not only a decorative front, but also a decorative back if you choose to use it that way. There is the cat, and there is the front of that. Both of these are arches, and that's just a beautiful thing. And they also have holes placed so that you can string these together. In addition to the front and the back, there are more pages inside. There are 2 of them. So you can decide if you want to use everything together as one album or if you want to divvy them up. Your choice. So let's get started. We'll begin with the bird cage. And here is what Teresa did. And just want to show you how sparkly that cage is. And as you can see, she elected to use both of these laser cut pieces on the front of her album. So how pretty is that? Okay, so let me show you what she's done. I'm going to set this aside. And she used, well, first of all, she took this piece, placed it on a piece of scrap paper on top of her craft mat, and used a watermark ink pad. It could be the Wow, it could be the VersaFine, either one, and just tap that thoroughly over the front. And then she sprinkled the silver sparkle embossing powder on top. And then she took that piece of paper that was underneath and tapped off the excess powder and then scooped it and put it back into the container. That way you can reuse it. Then she used a heat tool to melt the silver, and you can see how sparkly that is. Very, very nice. And on the back side, she used a white ink spray. Now that white ink spray has been discontinued by the manufacturer. So we do have some. I think actually right now they're on 50/50 Friday. But if you don't have them, you can just use a white ink pad if you like, or you can just leave it the craft color, whichever you prefer. Now let's get into this one, and you can really see it as I lift this up. And she has multiple colors, and she used the Prism ink pad. So let me just walk you through it. Khaki is this color, and it's a very dull green, just what you would expect khaki to be. And she used that on the outside. Obviously, the blending brushes are going to make that easy to apply, or you can use the dabbers, the sponge dabbers. Then she used the royal blue for the birds, of course, and she also used the cocoa bean for the branch that they're sitting on. And then she went into the hot pink for the flowers, and that, as you can see, is working nicely. Khaki, again, was used for the leaves. And so each of these is dabbed on. Now, Teresa also, you see it looks a little distressed. Well, she spritzed it with that white ink spray. If you don't have that, and again, like I said, that we're not going to have it anymore, you could take a sanding paper, sandpaper, and just kind of go across it if you want that distressed look, or you can just leave it the way it is. Now, Teresa elected to get a shine on this, and I'm hoping you can see that shine. Yeah, there you go. And that shine was done again with that ink pad, going over the whole thing, obviously after it's dry, and then sprinkling the clear embossing powder on top, and tapping off the excess, and then heating it with the heat tool to melt the clear embossing powder. So that kind of finishes it. So we've got sparkle and shine, so that's nice. Now, let me get these out of the way just for a moment, and I want to show you what Teresa used, because with these albums, of course, you can use any papers, and of course, we kind of like ours. So Teresa has chosen the Meadow Blooms. the pattern cardstock in 12 by 12, the die cuts, and then also the solid. So let me show you what she's done with this, with these pages. Now, with the Meadow Blooms, like with many of Hot Off the Presses collections, there are multiple colors. It isn't just one color. So you can see there's pink, there's green, there's blue, and there's some soft gold, soft yellow. So anyway, she's taken advantage of that, and here she has the blue. So all you'll do is place your adhesive on the arch, then position your paper wherever you want it, press it down, turn it over, and trim it to fit with your scissors or your penknife, either way. Now in this particular one, after Teresa covered it, she elected to take the royal blue and go around the edge again with the blending brush, and you can see what a nice halo that provides. Now this sheet is plain in that it is backing those birds, so she didn't want to have any other additional embellishment to it. But let me show you what's happening on the next spread. This is a two-page spread, as we say in the printing business, and you can see yellow and pink are her colors. Now, just lovely, just absolutely lovely. And Teresa has on these pages, you can see down here, she has used the thin line dazzles, and this is the pearl and pastel collection. So this is gold pearl and pink pearl right down here, 2 rows, just to give it that bit of extra attention. And she's going to use those throughout her her album. In addition, she's going to use these. And the first is the Never Before Seen Dazzles. Now, this has, gosh, I think it's 20 sheets in it, something like that. And it happens to have 3 sheets of butterflies that are each different. There's the blue, the gold pearl, and the pink. So it also has a whole bunch of other things. So what Teresa has done is on the yellow sheet, she has used the gold pearl, and she has placed them. Now these pieces are cutouts from the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock. And so you can see she's got them touching. They are flat. The dazzles, there's 1, 2, 3, and they are just doing a nice job of interacting with the cutouts. She also has placed the, where is it? Oh goodness. Okay. The the yellow adhesive dots. So there, and there in the center of the butterflies. Since this is inside the album, it's going to be fine having those bumps. That's going to work out nicely. You know, something I should tell you at this point is, as I said, there are holes in all the album pages. There are no rings. So what Teresa has used is a 1/8 inch glimmer ribbon. And that is what she's used to loop through those, and she has simply tied them in a knot. So that worked very nicely. Okay, going over to the pink, we've got the same process. However, this time she has one of the die cuts as well as the cutouts. And you can see that she's got the pink butterflies. How good does that look? And okay, here are my adhesive dots. Here's the yellow that she used, and here's the pink that she used. Again, just putting those onto the butterflies, and that works quite nicely. This one was inked with mustard. This one was inked with blush, and so that's going to do a nice job of kind of, again, giving a shadow to them. The next spread is green, and then it's got this white with all the meadow blooms on it. Works very, very nicely. You can see blue is what she has taken from it. There are cutouts in the 12 by 12 pattern collection. Some are smaller, some are larger. The larger one was glued down flat, and then she's got a die cut here and another die cut here, and they've been placed, as you can see. This is a cutout that's been foam taped on top, and we bring in our blue butterflies. As you can see, they are fluttering, and she used the yellow dots on those. And then with the gingham, the glimmer ribbon that she used to tie, she's got a little knotted one that has been zotted in place. For this one, you can see that she used the first page on the meadow blooms, and you can see just how beautiful that looks. This time, she put the gold thin line dazzles going vertically. The blue ones are going horizontally, so that horizontal has been duplicated on each of the pages except for the last. Now this is going to have a cutout, two cutouts, and another of the gold butterfly and the yellow dots. Now for the back of her album, Teresa wanted to have a place where you could write a message, you could make a dedication, however you wanted to use this. So she went back to the pink area of the meadow blooms. This is another one of the larger cutouts. Added the pink butterflies, as you can see. Now Teresa did not want to use the dots here because she was just concerned that this is going to get handled and worn. So she went to the gold jewel dazzles. These are the gold pearl jewel dazzles, and they are with the butterflies. So that just worked out very nicely. And I hope you like this. I think it's very fun. Now, as I said, you can use them together or you can separate them, whatever you want to do. And it was fun that Teresa let the paper be the backing for this sheet as she overlapped them. Now, if doing embossing powder is not your forte, you certainly could use the Midas silver ink pad. This is going to give you that silver look. Maybe not as sparkly as the embossing powder, but it will still give you the silver look, and that's nice. Okay, so we've taken care of our birds. We're going to move to our cats. And this also has two pieces, as I said earlier. So you can see the tree here, branches coming out. There's 1, 2, 3 cats. And then on the back side, there is this beautiful laser cut piece. So let's see what Teresa did. So silver on her first album. Looks like she's going with gold on her second album. And what she used was this product. This is a glimmer gold spray. So again, you're going to go onto your craft mat, place this, and just spritz it. And it's going to take a couple of coats, get whatever coverage you like, and that's going to work very nicely. And on the back side, she also sprayed it, so it's all the same color on both sides. Now, Teresa did purchase these rings separately, and that allows her to have a different adherence to her albums. That's going to work nicely. Now for this piece, she used the charcoal prism ink pad, and so simply she's just dabbed it again, covering it as well as she wanted. So that worked well for her. And just like the first album, she has a plain paper, well, if you can call that plain, going behind the cats. And she did ink it, as you can see, on both sides. Now, the butterflies that are floating in there, they come from the butterfly collection. There are 3 different colors in here. Obviously, one is gold, one is purple, and one is pink. And that is what she's used on both of them, just to give a little bit of sparkle. And you see it does a nice job against that charcoal color. Now, the paper collection that she's used is called Poppies. And let me bring this out here for you. So she has also used the 12 by 12 poppies. She's used, this is the pattern cardstock. This is the solid cardstock. You can see all those colors. And she also used the die cuts. The thing that I just threw, I'll show you in a minute. So she used the Poppies die cuts. Okay, so as you can see, much like the meadow blooms, this has multiple colors. So we've got yellow, pink, green, there's some orange mixed in there, so that's really fun. And you can see that she's chosen this pink to go on their first one. So it didn't have to be just totally plain like that first album was. There's design here, but it is positioned so that our cats do show up, which is what we want. Now, the other thing that she has added is the thing that I threw away. Here it is. It is the jewel butterflies. Now, these are acetate, which means that they are translucent, but it also means that you can lift them up. They are die cut already for you. There are 32 pieces here, lots of colors, lots and lots of colors, so that's wonderful. And let me show you. So she has attached this with extra sticky tape, and there's also the side butterflies, so that works out nicely. Now, let's go to our next layer. And here we have the green, obviously, and the yellow. So you can see the papers that she used. I'm going to focus over here on the left-hand side. Teresa did something that I think is very fun and something I have not seen before. And you see this pocket, and it also has a tag in it. How fun is that? I love the size. Well, the lady, the clever lady, adapted our double pocket treat die-cut cards. Now there's 4 cards, 8 tags, 4 envelopes. So here's what she did. Here is one of the cards, and it opens up like this. And the way that it becomes, it is actually, it ends up going this way, and it stands up with those scored lines. And then you have tags that are included to go inside. Well, our clever Miss Teresa opened this up, and she realized that she could cut this puppy in half. So she cut right along the center score line. Then she removed these 2 pieces, and so she had this piece. Okay, so she removed, so this piece goes here and here, but she removed those, so she had one left. She did put extra sticky tape. This is the 1/4 inch on the back of the tab. And then the way it works is you simply fold those in and then tuck that in the back and attach it to your project. How neat. Plus, you have a tag that's going to fit in it. And since there are 4 cards in here, you can do 8 pockets. I think it's just bloody brilliant. So that's what she's done. Now I'll notice that while she used the green paper here, she went back to a softer yellow and put pieces of it on her pocket. Now you could simply cover that totally with paper. Teresa elected to make them a little bit smaller, the paper's a little bit smaller, so that the pocket is the white mat around it. Okay, so that gets glued down, and you can see on her tag, how fun. So let me show you what she used. In addition to the papers, she also used these dazzles. These are pretty new. Wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't seen them. These are 35 flower dazzles. They come in orange and pink and yellow. And look what she's done. We'll get in close just so that you can really see. So she's got an orange one, a yellow one here, orange and yellow. She's got pink dots. So she's mixed the center dots and just done a really nice job. You can really see it right there. I love that. I think it's just fun and bright and colorful. And what more could you have, especially during the summer? Okay, so she has placed this down. This is a cutout from the page. These are the dazzles overlapping, does a nice job. There is our acetate butterfly, there's 2 of them. And our pocket also has the couple of shades of the yellow. And then she's also used the inside-outside dazzles. So you've got the happy birthday right there. Okay, so this gets tucked in. The thin line dazzles, the ones that she used on the first album that were the thin line dazzles, pearl and pastel, she's also used on this album, and that happens to be the gold pearl. Really pretty. The ribbon that she's used is the dot ribbon, and again, it just really does a nice job with the look of the papers and so forth. Okay, this page, again, something fun. our Teresa has done. So this is the oval doilies. You get 25 pieces. And what I think is very clever is that she used the oval. Now you would think, okay, gee, that's too big. You could almost cover the whole thing, couldn't you? Okay, so she placed it like this and trimmed it to fit, and then placed this one over it so that you have this really pretty edge. And I think it's very clever. And as I said, I love those. This is a die cut, and that's been glued across. So when she did the yellow, you can see she did a smattering of green at the bottom. Oh, it's about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches right there. This is also covered with some of the light yellow. And she has taken one of the die cut tags and glued it off center, which I think looks really nice. So all of her tags have the paper and then another color, another shade of the same color going across the middle. So that worked nicely. Again, the dotted ribbon, that's going to slip right in. And very fun. I think her color combination is really fun. The other thing that I think is interesting is that the poppies are very realistic looking. And obviously the dazzles are not. And yet because it's the same colors, it works together. And I think that's really a nice comment to make. So let's go to our last spread. And she's kept pink on both sides, which I thought was also nice. Again, another of the pockets. And she's got the same dazzles. This time they're up here. She put some of the little accent dazzles. This happens to be the candles down here. It's from the inside out. And then I'm sure that all of you know this, but the more candles, the bigger the wish. So you might want to make note of that. And more of the 35 dazzles and the dot ribbon. And then over here, she's kind of overlapped these. So this is a mix of cutouts and die cuts, cutout. Overlapping there again, we've got the 35 dazzles and then the acetate jewel butterflies. On her back, again, she wanted to make sure that you had a place where if you wanted to do a message, so you can see that is right there. It's a cutout from the patterned cardstock and another cutout, and then you've got the dazzles and the butterfly dazzles, all of them right around. So you can easily, and with a lot of fun, take something like this and turn it into something like this. Or you can take this little sweetie and turn it into this. Bright and shiny and very fun on the inside. Now the other thing, if you watch the webisodes, you may know that recently Lene and Debbie did 2 other albums. So I thought I would just bring them in. This is also birds, it's also an arch. And Lene elected, or Debbie elected, to back it with paper. So that's another finishing that you might like. And it looks to me like these are all done either with ink pads or with tri-blend markers. And she did pockets and things inside hers. Teresa did the pockets in a way that I think is so clever. And this is another album where they left the front loose, it's not attached to paper, and then went through. So just want you to know that there are lots of options, and I hope that you enjoyed this webisode. I appreciate Teresa doing this because this was a bonus webisode for her, and I do hope that if you are watching this on YouTube, you'll see the whole process is to like us, to comment, and then of course to subscribe. We always like that. Head on over to paperwishes.com. By the way, there is a money saver with the 2 albums. It's over on the right side of your screen, so you can take advantage of that, or you can buy them individually. The supply is limited, so I do want to tell you that because I don't want you disappointed. And I do want to thank Teresa for doing this. Most of all, I want to thank you for joining us and for being part of our Paper Wishes family. See you next time.